Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Interview a Greyhead, the conversation that will hopefully give you a nugget of information that will encourage you to take action when it comes to your career. This week I'm joined by Rosa Macri, who lives in Canada. Having worked in project management for nearly 30 years for one of the largest tech companies, Rosa has gained experience in every discipline a project management office offers. She has built PMOs and competency centres across the world, ensuring the implementation of best practices and standards. Rosa is the founder and the owner of the PM Specialist, which is dedicated to advancing project management professional resources to achieve best-in-class skills through training, coaching and mentoring. I truly hope you enjoy the conversation. Hi, Rosa. Thanks for joining me today. How are you?
I'm fine, Paul. Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor.
And you're coming from Canada, right? Today, Canada.
Yes, I'm in Montreal.
Montreal,
where the weather is fine for a change.
For a change, it's quite cold over there, isn't it?
It is in the winter, but summer is always pleasant.
Right, Rosa. So, interview with a Greyhead, 10 questions, 10 answers. Let's just jump into it. An idea is around whoever's watching is to learn a nugget of information from the conversation we have. And hopefully that will encourage someone to maybe take action on their career if they're feeling a bit stuck or not quite sure what to do next, maybe feeling frustrated, but they want to do something. And the idea is to try and give them that nugget of information that they'll proceed forward with. Yeah. So my first question I've got for you is, when it comes to planning your career, I'm curious to get your thoughts on it. A lot of people go to university and they take a subject. I had a client the other day there, for example, who went to uni to get a degree in politics. And he's now a sales manager for an eco company. So it's completely, chalk and cheese. And he's now coming to me because he wants something different in his world. Yeah. And another view is when you're planning, someone might become a doctor, which is a sort of 8-year course to become a doctor, 7 or 8 years, certainly in the UK. But that's a very specific thing. It's a very path that you go down, and not many people will give that up. They'll continue with it. So I'm curious to know about yourself in a sense of, did you plan your career, or did you fall into it? And what do you think people should do?
So I actually fell into my career, but funny enough, with retrospect, it was like it was almost fated for me. So it's very interesting because my my degree is very much the same as the example you were giving, in the sense that I got a degree in English literature and drama and theater.
Okay.
And I ended up in IT. Okay.
Yeah,
as far apart as you could possibly even imagine.
There's no Shakespeare there.
There's no Shakespeare there, but funny enough, let me give you an example, because when I was in university, I was asked to, in my very first year, to be the stage manager of the major production. And so the stage management skill set is really to be the leader of that production, because the director walks away and you take over, and you need to cue the lights and the sets and the this and the that. And so this was all very much a project management type of business and skill set that you needed. So at the time I didn't know it. So I felt like I fell into the career because I, studied, drama and theater and English. And then I worked in banking, and then I ended up in IT.
Yeah.
But once I ended up in IT, as I started to see what the potential was for, oh, look, I could grow a whole career over here. And if I, go over to the application side, or I go to the infrastructure side, and I can work on this account and that account, then I started to see the potential of actually planning. Right. Okay. So although I may have fallen into it because maybe it really was my destiny, right? when I saw what I could plan, I did plan. And that to me was very, very important, because I don't think I would have gotten as far as I did without that planning. So I do suggest to people that when they do realize there is an opportunity here to plan, they very much should do that.
They should sit down, do the focus, and take the plan and make a plan. Yeah. So actually consciously take a focus of it. Yeah. Okay. What's your view towards mentorship? Have you been a mentor? And have you been mentored? You know, do you have a mentor? You know, what's the pros and cons, and what's your experience?
Yeah, so I was never mentored. And interestingly enough, it was because I was never mentored and learned things the hard way, that when I got to a position within my career where I was now, you know, I had the ability to mentor others, I grabbed it like in a shot. Yeah. Because my way of thinking is, personally, I hate to waste time. I'm like, time is money. Time is money, you know. Yeah. And so if I knew, oh boy, I wasted so much time getting to that next level because nobody mentored me, I wouldn't want somebody else to do that. So I took those opportunities to mentor other people as I was going through various levels of my career. Okay. And I really knew that that would be beneficial to them because they wouldn't have to take as long to get there as I did. Right. Yeah. And had I been mentored, I probably very much would have gotten there faster. I do believe that. I truly believe that. That's why I took the opportunity to mentor other people, because I care about them and I want them to achieve, and I want them to get to that level. Right. Yeah. And that's the way to really do it.
So you recommend mentorship? You recommend,
absolutely, I recommend
seek out a mentor. Yep, seek out a mentor. Cool. In your career, what values have you lived by?
Wow. So I would say sort of the values of who I am as a person, definitely. Mm-hmm. You know, I live by the values of, you know, honesty and trustworthiness, mm-hmm. and, you know, being dependable. Definitely I have an element of achievement in my character, and wanting to achieve and wanting to, have the things that I desire. And the way to do that is through achievement and attaining goals. So those are the values that I've lived by, and I've really stuck to them pretty much my whole life, because they are, like I said, they're kind of part and parcel of my character. Right.
So they're instilled within you, and it's just naturally came to you from a day-to-day perspective. Exactly. Have you ever had a time where you've sat down and really thought about it, where you maybe know that you're not living by your values, and it's there's something inside you? Have you thought about that at all? You've actually had to sit down and consciously think about your values? I'm going to tell you that there are times that you do when things are not always going well, and you sit back and you say, okay, why is that? And am I veering off this path? Why am I veering off this path? Sometimes it's just sort of human nature to veer off, because there are things that happen in our lives where we get frustrated or upset. And so then you don't necessarily want to stick to it, because you want to chuck the whole thing out and just do what you want to do. But those are the times that I say to myself, no, this is who I am as a person. That's why I have to go back to being that, because to me, though, that is me. That is my signature. That is who I am, and who I am and how I present myself to that world is very important to me. Very important. Cool. All right. In your career, what style have you approached? What's your personal style, personal brand that you've taken? My style is authoritative. Right. Okay. It's very much leading with confidence and vision. Mm-hmm. Although, as I'm sure with many people, the confidence may only be on the exterior and not necessarily on the interior, but I don't want anybody to necessarily see that.
but confidence and having a bigger vision, and perhaps trying to have a little fun with that, because authoritative can't be too much of a downer.
Yeah.
But I always say to myself, I kind of think of it like when we go on vacation, the tour guide with the umbrella.
Yeah.
Why do you want to follow the person who's carrying that umbrella? Because they know where they're going. You're not following them because they're going to take you to a seedy part of the city, right?
Yeah.
Or that, they get lost in the streets. You're following because they have confidence and they have the vision of where they want to take you and how they want to take you there.
Yeah.
And on top of it, they're telling some funny stories on the way, and you're getting some information about the city. So to me, I am the tour guide of my department, my team, or whatever.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. How important, following on from that, how important is for someone to have a personal brand within the workplace? I mean, I think it's within the workplace and the personal life as well. But how important do you think it is for someone to have a brand?
I think the brand is very important, although you may not even recognize that you have a brand.
Yeah.
Okay. In my business, it was very much, you needed the brand, because if you wanted somebody to, move you up to the next level, or you wanted that, even if it was just the next great project and you wanted to be the one to run that big one, or, the one that had high visibility, you needed to have a bit of a brand, even if your brand was, she's going to get the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, that was very important, and it is very important. So it's essential.
It's essential. Fine. In your career, what's been the hardest time for you, and how did you deal with that, and what's your reflections today on that point?
I'm going to say the hardest time for me is the fact that, being a woman in a man's business, when it was a lot of men mostly, that was a tough time for me, because I was, in the same job as men. I was, doing the same work, but not necessarily getting the same pay. And maybe I even had more knowledge and more experience. So that was a very hard time for me to deal with it. But one of the things that I learned from that total experience was that I had to continue to persevere, because I knew what I wanted to achieve, and I wasn't going to let that stop me. So I had to keep pushing through and pushing through and pushing through. Sometimes women break that glass ceiling, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes we get awfully close to it, and we have to decide if that's enough for us. But that to me was pretty much the hardest in my business. I mean, I would go to meetings, client meetings with, 10 people from my company. We'd all get into a boardroom, and there'd be, 9 men and me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was quite tough. Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough at times, but I just had to show my, my worth and my value, and keep on pressing forward. And I'm glad that I did that, because it did get me to where I needed to be.
Would you have changed anything?
Probably would have pushed a little harder sooner.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Because I think at the beginning I was a little shy about it. Sorry, I was going to give you the French word. I was going to say we were a little gêné, like, being a little shy. But, I didn't know how far I could push or when I could push. If I knew what I know now, I probably would have pushed a little sooner and a little faster, and I would have gotten there a bit faster.
You would have got there a bit faster. Fine. Good. Thank you. When it comes to networking, how important is networking within the workplace, and what's your approach to networking?
So networking is important. I'm going to say that for me, though, networking is on par with developing your skills and your knowledge. I think the three have to be equal, right? Some people will say that networking is huge in their business. For me, it was a little bit important, but not more important than, or less important than, developing my skills and my knowledge, because my approach was always show what I know, do a quality job. When I did that, then the person who I was networking with would see that quality and would have enough pull to take me to the next level.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And is it? Do you have any sort of formula, networking formula that you try and follow? And what's your recipe for good networking?
Right. So I wouldn't say so much I had a recipe, but what I would try to do is I would try to pinpoint where was it in the area of the business that I wanted to go, or the department, or the whatever. Find the person who I think had the most pull and the most, maybe not always most pull, but the most confidence, and had a combination of that plus pull plus, had his own brand and good network of his own. And then try to say, I want to get a project or whatever in that group and in that area, and then show my stuff. So that was pretty much how I approached it.
How you approach things. Cool. We were just talking before we started recording, and you're saying that you've managed hundreds of people. Yeah, making from individuals into teams and larger. How does someone progress in their career? And what I mean by that is not necessarily having promotion. Someone might just want an additional responsibility, but keep the same job title, for example. Yeah, but they want a wee bit extra responsibility because they're interested in something. So, or it could mean promotion. It could be that. Yeah. So, how does someone keep on progressing upwards in their career? Yeah.
So I think if you are somebody who wants to stay in your role and only stay in your role, then the way to keep progressing, and actually it's either, to be honest, whether you want to stay in the role or you want to grow, you need to keep that skill set going. You need to keep a good balance of what I would say is both the soft skills and the hard skills. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
You need both of those to be able to keep progressing in the same role, or if you want to go to the next role. And almost a little bit more than the hard skills is the soft skills.
Is the soft skills.
Right. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working with a client at the moment who she has became the head of a function, great at doing the job, but struggles with the soft skills. So we're doing some work on emotional intelligence, for example. Yeah.
Emotional intelligence is huge.
It's huge. It is huge. I don't think, for me, my experience, I don't think people necessarily think about it. And some people have got it and some people haven't got it, and so you need to be a bit recognition when you've not got it. Is what do you do about that? Because it's so big. It's so big. Sometimes people can take a stretched assignment to maybe prove themselves where they might not necessarily have the skills, but they might jump in and say, hey, Rosa, I'll do that. I can do that within the project. And they might not have the skills. And what they're trying to do is to maybe learn new skills on the job, or they're maybe trying to impress you. What's your views on people pushing themselves to take a stretched assignment to try and better themselves?
I definitely recommend taking stretch assignments.
Yeah, okay.
I always did that because I do think it gives you good visibility and it helps to build that personal brand. The one drawback to that is obviously you have to know what your limit is to how much effort you can put into it, and to maintain a work-life balance, and or just make sure that on the work side, the stretch in the day-to-day, you can deliver.
You can deliver, yeah.
You have to be able to deliver at the end of the day. And if you can't, then, it's nice to say that you say you want to show the initiative to take it, but make sure you can deliver. And if you can't, then make sure you put yourself out there. Now make sure you find the way to deliver. And if the life part of the balance has to come later, so be it.
Yeah.
Then you do it. but that will help to build the brand. Absolutely, it will.
Absolutely. And I think it's also the courage to add to that, the courage to accept that you might fail. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
And it's probably likely you will at some sort, whether it's a small or a large failure, but also the courage to ask for help.
You have to put yourself out there. You definitely have to put yourself out there, give it a shot, have the courage to do it. Yeah. Definitely you will ask for help. I mean, I did a lot of stretch assignments to get to where I got to. And that was part of it, was I would be, in the back corner going, what does that mean? How do I do this? Right? So yeah. You got to try and do that, never letting them necessarily see it, but yes, putting yourself out there.
Finally, then, the question that is around gotchas, and what that means over here is, what are the things, when I was in my corporate days, I would come on to assignments and stuff, and I'd say, right, tell me, what are the things I really need to be thinking about? Tell me what I should not be doing. Yeah, don't tell me what I should be doing, because I'll work that out. Tell me what I shouldn't be doing. So what's your views on that around from a career perspective?
I think everybody's going to tell you what you should be doing.
Yeah, well, exactly. Everybody's
going to tell you what you should be doing. But my personal opinion on that is you got to weigh that with what is in your instinct and in your intuition tells you, right? So do what's best for you. Yes, listen to it. You cannot not listen to it, because there are going to be tons of people that want to give you their opinion and want to tell you what they think. I come from a very large family, Paul. I come from 6 sisters and 1 brother. Wow. And it was like having 7 mothers. They all want to tell you what to do. So you have to listen to it, to be respectful, but some of it I would take, some of it I wouldn't, because I would weigh it against what does my instinct tell me is good for me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So even in your work life, there are going to be, mentors that'll tell you certain things. You got to listen to what some of it is, and some you'll take good and some you won't. Yeah. But just weigh it all out for yourself personally.
Yeah. Well, Rosa, thank you very much. That's 10 questions, 10 answers. That's been brilliant. So thank you very much. Hopefully, someone's watching this and they'll get something, that sort of nugget of information. If it helps one person, to me, that's just fantastic. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. It was so much fun. I truly enjoyed this, and I do hope it does help someone.
Thank you. Thanks, Rosa. Hi. So before you go, thanks very much for watching the video. I truly hope that you enjoyed it and you got that nugget of information for you to take forward within your career. If you like what you've seen, please like and share it, because it really does help. In the intro video, I talked about taking action. Well, at Two Saints, we offer a career coaching program. The program is designed to help individuals truly learn about themselves, truly have a deeper understanding of their strengths and their weaknesses. It'll allow you to make the right goals for you to take forward into your career, to allow you to get that job that you've always wanted, seek that higher salary that you've quite truly deserve. If you think career coaching is something that you'd like to learn more about, follow the link that's on the page, sign up to our webinar, which we run on a Tuesday and a Thursday, which gives you a good overview of the program and why career coaching is good for you. Cheers now. Bye.